Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Red Rock Chess. I hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. Thank you guys for watching today's subscriber special. Currently, we're at 21 subscribers. That is the highest we've ever been at, obviously. And I want to thank you guys for all subscribing to the channel. And if you guys are new, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and also drop down in the comment section what your guys' ELO is. And I'm going to be looking forward to responding to all your guys' comments and seeing how we can help you guys improve. Without further ado, today's video is going to be watching a crazy game that has multiple brilliant moves, multiple blunders, and we are just going to soak it up and enjoy it. So let's get right into the video. So today is going to be a game where we're going to analyze it as the black pieces, and this is going to be the Sicilian defense. Right here, white brings out their knight right here, and the purpose of that is to attack the center of the board. Black counters this by putting their pawn right here, which creates the Sicilian defense. This pawn right here is for the purpose of black not being able to pin the knight to the king. It shouldn't be as big of a threat as it really they make it out to be. It is an okay move, but if black were to put their bishop in the spot, it could easily just be kicked out right here with these moves. Black decides to bring out their knight. This is a standard Sicilian defense right here. White brings out their bishop, and the point of this right here is either to do a fried liver attack, but primarily it's just a castle short. And this is just a simple start to the game. You'll see a lot of high-level players do this. You'll also see people just slowly start to bring out their pieces right here. And in this case, black decides to push their pawn. The reason for this is to fianchetto the bishop on the long diagonal. It also looks at just developing the pieces right here just to start off the game. White, instead of castling right here, decided to go for what's called the fried liver attack, and that's just saying if black were to just slowly develop and stuff like that, it just leaves this right here for white, where they can just bring their knight into the game and attack and fork the black pieces right here. And in this case, black pushed their black pawn right up in case, just so that that is not an option. So if black were to take right there, it could easily just be recaptured, stuff like that. What white should be doing is castling right now. What they decide to do is they bring this out right here. And the main reason for that is because this right here is hanging if it's not. So what they really need to be doing is just bringing their knight back, castling, or pushing this pawn up to defend that. And that's what they do. They just bring the bishop out to defend this right here. This move right here is a slight inaccuracy by black for the slight reason of it has the good intentions behind it, because white, if they were to retreat, it could just be taken. But the only thing that's overlooked right there is this move right here, where the bishop can attack and give black a check. And that's exactly what happens right here. And the only thing that black can really do is block, because they don't want their knight on the side of the board. So that is what eventually happens. You can see the evaluation bar as of right now is equal, a little bit slighter, better advantage for white. This pawn move right here, you can see, brings it back to equal. The reason for that is it doesn't allow the knight to really develop as much anymore. The other reason for it is because you really start needing castling and getting your pieces more active. And black pushes their bishop right here. It's also a slight inaccuracy. The best move would actually be bishop to g7, so fianchettoing the bishop. That's the whole reason why this was right here. The intentions behind this is to, if white were to castle right here, you would just take right here with the bishop, and when the bishop were to capture back, you just take back with the queen. But the whole point of pushing up this pawn right here is to fianchetto and to look at creating a strong bishop on the diagonal. White captures right here, and black just recaptures back. White eventually moves their knight back to the f3 square, and this pawn is pushed. This pawn is a slight inaccuracy as well, because it just doesn't help develop black's pieces as much as they should. They should be looking at some stronger moves right here. This pawn is pushed, very, very strong move. White is going to be looking at castling here shortly, and both these pawns are pushed, which is a good move. The reason for this pawn being pushed right here is just eventually looking at bringing the knight into the game. And this right here is somewhat of a blunder. The reason for that is because it just allows this knight to eventually hop onto this square right here, and it's being protected. So it's not very, very good for black to have done that, because now there's nothing to eventually attack the white knight if it were to jump onto the square. And white immediately punishes black for doing that, and it'll show later in the game, especially because if black were to take right here, it's just creating a huge threat for black, and it's just not going to look good. You could look at like bringing the queen out to like attack the pawn and create some like eventual threats, but it doesn't do as good because all your pieces will be traded. Black decides to put their knight on this. It has good intentions right here. You could look at just trading off the knights right there, and then if the bishop were to take, you could just take back right there and eventually be up 1 point of material. And that's kind of what happens. You can see that evaluation bar right here before this move is made is 1 point like in the favor of white, and then it's all equals again. The reason for that is it exposes the king a little too much. Now you aren't able to castle and protect your king as much. Your king is still kind of pretty exposed, and there's some heavy threats that are going to be coming out from this position for white. This move right here is made exactly for that reason that I was telling you, and the best move right here in this case is to take. Black does not decide to do that, and they move the knight back because now there's nothing to attack the black knight if it were to do the exact same thing. White brings out their knight, developing it, and white's primary purpose is to, I guess, bring reinforcement into the game. And black starts to take out their queen, and the reason for this is because they want to eventually be able to push this pawn up, eventually be able to take if this bishop ever did come out, and the queen is brought out. And this is a slight favor for black now, and you'll see why. This bishop right here was not a good move at all, and the reason for that is because you need to start breaking down the center of the board right here. And this right here is a huge blunder. You can see that evaluation bar just absolutely skyrocket for black. And I want you guys to pause the video and find the brilliant move that black found in this position. I'll give you guys a minute. Awesome. Now that you guys had the time to pause the video, comment in the comment section what you guys think this brilliant move is. I want you guys to be looking at what black can do with a discovered attack. You could see this pawn could be pushed so that black can create what's called a discovered attack on the king. I want that for you guys to have that in mind. And in this position, the bishop sacrifices itself. Brilliant move, number one. This is a brilliant move because when white takes, then this right here can be moved. And say white were to come out of the way, that's just a free rook. And in this case, white fell for the bait. They had no idea what was about to come. And so this is pushed right here. And you may be thinking, well, can't it just be defended? Yes, but then you lose the queen. So, when this move is made, white can push their queen, and then it's blocked. And that's all good. What do you mean? Can't they just push the queen and just trade the queens? But this bishop right here comes in on the diagonal and forces the pin on the king. And they didn't even do that. They just saw, oh, I could just block this right here, but then I can just, then as black, you could just take. This still is pinned to the king. Right here, black captures this piece back right here, the pawn. This right here is made for the reason of if you were to go to this square right here, it's just, they can just keep delivering checks until you make a mistake. So the reason why black moved right here is because you can't really deliver check from this position. White really wanted to push the pawns right here to create some counterplay against black. And this move right here is made for the purpose of just eventually creating some strong attacks against black. And right here, this bishop comes out to kind of connect the rooks right here a little bit. And this right here is not a good move. The reason for that is because once white takes right here and black takes back, then you're just up one less point of material. This rook right here is kind of put in this position for the sole purpose of if white were to be a little passive right here, just bringing their rook out to one of these two squares, you just take this back right there, and eventually you have two knights for the rook. White just delivers check right here, slides out of the way. So a good square that white would eventually want to be on is just this square right here. So eventually looking at any opportunity, if this pawn wasn't here, just to kind of like jump in right there and deliver check. That's what white's ideal square would be. White decides to slide their king into the E3 square. Black pushes their pawn. The reason for this is they're just trying to promote their queen, a queen right here, get the rooks on the end file, and just start creating some problems for white. White, on the other hand, is looking to create some problems right here. This right here, if it's not taken or pushed, that this just allows black to take, eventually bring their rook out right here, and then when white takes back right there, it's just taken and promoted to a queen. So they push this pawn up right here. The reason for that is after this is pushed, they could eventually block it right there. But first, white decides that they want to attack the queen. That's okay, because this can just shift around eventually once this right here is brought up. Black decides to bring their queen back right there, and then white slides their bishop the rook all the way over. This move right here is rather interesting, because the reason why that they want to do that is so that they can bring their rook up. White's best case scenario is bringing over the king. And this right here is a good move because it allows the rooks to be connected, and red is eventually, or white is eventually going to start applying some more pressure on the king. And in this case, they just take the pawn back. This pawn could be a very big threat in the future. It's blocking off some key squares for the white king. So great move to take that back. But it overlooks one very brilliant move. Brilliant move number 2 of the game. I want you guys to pause the video one last time. Think, what can black do in this position to create a strong attack against the white king and eventually force the white king into resigning? That move right there would be rook takes g3. This is brilliant move number 2 of the game. The reason for that is because once white takes back, you will not bring your rook back into the game, but the queen. This queen creates a really nasty a really nasty attack on the king. The best move right here is to slide over just right here and create some more problems. White decides to put their queen right here. The reason for that is if white were to bring their king up one, you can just take right here. You're just eventually looking at creating some threats right there. And that's exactly what happens. This right here is just an attack on the king. This right here goes to defend that. This is not a good move at all because it just allows the knight to be brought in like this right here. This is slid back right here. And the best punishing move for white in this position is to just bring in the bishop. Bringing in the bishop right here is probably one of the best moves, but it's not what happens. The reason for that is because black then can just eventually bring in the rook. And you may ask, that's just a free rook. And you'd be right. This rook right here is threatening checkmate in one. If white were to do anything right here, this can just be taken, and there is no safe squares really that black can go on to really salvage the game, because once this is taken, then you can take that right there, and it's just all going to come down, and there's nothing that they can do. Right here, this is taken, but it allows black to kind of settle the game and finish the game off in a way that is advantageous for black. This right here is what seals black fate, and I want you guys to see what is the move that could have prevented this. And that move is this right here, because it attacks both the queen and the pawn, and it forces a better position for white, because then they could eventually look at bringing in their queen, stuff like that. The idea behind this is that white usually wants to get behind it and eventually attack the pawn, but there is this really great move that ends the game on the spot, and that is the move queen takes f3. And the reason for that is if black or white were to take the queen, you just promote a new one. So there is nothing that white can do to really solve this game and finish it out. And I want you guys to always be looking for those opportunities. So, if you guys did like today's video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day. Thank you guys for watching.